Good evening. My name is Alicia and welcome to my garden. I grow in western Pennsylvania, and moving from the end of July or end of June into the beginning of July, some things you should possibly be thinking about. Now, right here, I have a lot of my cool weather things that I planted that are starting to bolt, that are already in the state of lots and lots of little seed pods. um, so as your cool weather stuff is finishing, even though the tomatoes have not started to ripen yet, and it just feels like we just started into summer, it's time to start thinking about fall garden. Like, what are you going to plant? Consider, possibly planting a fall garden if you never have. So your radishes and turnips and rutabagas and peas and cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower and lettuce and spinach and those kind of things can be planted for the fall. Now, I myself am still working on when do I start it, when do I plant it, when do I put it out, all of those kind of things. Radish seed pods taste like little radishes if you like those. So, right now, almost this whole bed is going to get cut out tomorrow, put in the chicken run for them because they're actually coming to the stationary run for a few days. They can eat that, mix that into the compost, that kind of thing. I'm going to plant some corn. I have mini corn that finishes in 60 days. So 60 days from, say, tomorrow is sometime towards the end of August. That's still within reason for harvesting corn. This gorgeous bed right here is all broccoli. I'm leaving that to blossom right now, but in a little while it's going to be time for that to come out. And this, I believe, is where we're going to plant our garlic for next year. I may come through, cut this out, plant a cover crop of some variety in between cutting this out and planting our garlic in the fall. I just got rid of what I refer to as my table of guilt. It's the table of plants that I haven't put in the ground and I haven't found anybody that wants to take. I just snipped those off, threw those in the chicken run for them to compost those for us as well. But before I did throw 2 pepper plants in here. This pepper plant so badly wanted to produce peppers. There was like 4 peppers on this little guy in a little pot over on the table. So nipped those off, put this guy in the ground, and same thing with this one. This bed I am planning on making peas for going into the fall. Again, timing, I'm not 100% sure on that. Do a little research for your region, like when you should be planting those things. But now it's just kind of time to think about it. Like, what seeds would you want to have on hand? When would you want to start them? When would you want to put them out? And where would they go? Because there is lots of stuff that right now is finishing up as we're getting hotter into the end of June and beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July. Now, this is the bed. I'm planning on planting peas here because they can grow up this trellis right here. But I like to have my soil covered or something growing in it. Just a few days ago, I planted some buckwheat, and from this morning to right now, which is about 9 o'clock tonight, that's starting to come up. So that I'll just let it grow. It will blossom. It will bring in our beneficials. It will look beautiful. It will just keep the soil somewhat covered, shaded, all the things that you want, kind of in a no-till philosophy. And then I'll just cut that before it goes to seed. Important, before it goes to seed, and just lay it down as mulch. Now, as I've been researching cover crops more, I have been told that buckwheat's not like the ideal cover crop because it doesn't produce a lot of biomass. It doesn't really produce a lot of mulch. But when I went to go buy some cover crop, when I decided I want to give it a shot. The smallest amount that I think I could buy a cover crop in was like 5 pounds at the local feed store. For a garden my size, 5 pounds of buckwheat could last most of my gardening career, provided it will still germinate. So it's what I have, it's what we throw in, it's not going to hurt anything. We also periodically throw it in the stationary run for the chickens. When they're not in there, let that grow and then let them mix that into the compost when they come back in. Again, it's one of those things, it doesn't hurt anything. All right, we are running out of light. I need to go inside. I love being out this time of night. Like, this is when I want to be outside. The fireflies are out. It makes me happy being outside at this point in time, but it is probably time to go inside. Let's just take a quick look over here at my one crazy sunflower, and I'll sign off for the night. Oh, actually here. Last year, I actually violated my rule of saying make sure you harvest or you snip the buckwheat before it produces seed. So this right here is some buckwheat that reseeded itself around the garlic. So it's not too crazy, but I definitely should have cut that out before I did. But it was so pretty and it was bringing me so much joy. Watching all the pollinators come to it, I left it in for a little bit too long. So it is growing in a few places in the garden, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right, look at this crazy sunflower. I've shown it in my garden tour. It's like 3 heads fused together. I think it looks a little bit like a menacing grin. It's pretty and ugly all at the same time. Oh, and there's fireflies flying up behind that. All right. I'm either going to turn the camera off and get some work done, or turn the camera off and go inside. I'm not sure which one. Thank you so much for joining me in this little evening stroll in the garden. Hope you're having a wonderful day and getting to enjoy fireflies. Oh, they're so cool. Wherever you are.